Another one of the attributes of this project is the fact that it is in the middle of nowhere. I don't know about you, but I love the creative process, starting from scratch, making things and doing it the way that I want it done. Well, our group is the same way, at least the majority of them. The fact that this project is in the middle of nowhere means that everything has to be created, and that in itself is an attribute. Silica, in its raw form, sitting on the ground, just crushed down to a 3/4 of an inch or 5/8, they call it 3/4, 5/8 inch crush, has a value of a roughly $150 FOB our site. Okay, so from our site, it's at our location, it's $150. They have to pay for their own shipping on top of that. Silica quartzite, I talked to you about the veins. These diamond-like veins as quartz crystals are worth $3,800 a ton. This is the product that they use to make high-end fiber optics, okay, as well as high-end optics, period. Refined silica is worth anywhere from $500 to $6,800 a ton. In addition to that, we still have gravel for road building. We have lumber for construction. We have basically everything that you could possibly want is sitting right here. Silica in itself is one of the most environmentally friendly materials that can be mined. There's no pollutants. It's not a hazard. There's no chemicals used in the mining process, which make this a very highly prized project. Based on the 20 billion tons, now which remember, like I said, that's only on a 500-foot depth. Okay, that's based on a known 500-foot depth. We know there's more than that. We can see it on the edge of these bluffs are 1,500 foot tall. Okay, so there's 1,500 foot right there. If the silica, based on only 500 foot deep, we've got 20 billion tons. If it's only worth $150 a ton, if we never do anything more than that, there's no platinum, no palladium, no gold, no quartzite, no refining, no nothing, just sold at $150 a ton, the value of the mine itself is worth $2.2 trillion. Currently, we're only mining a small claim, section of a claim. We're continuing our core drilling. We're road building. We're adding additional infrastructure. We're procuring equipment. We're lumber harvesting. We're completing our pallet plant, as well as working on transportation expansion. We need to be able to move product from the mine to a rail system to port as quickly and fast and as much abundance as we can possibly or we want to do. At the moment, we're selling futures. We're acquiring pledges and IPOs, international purchase orders, from governments like China, Saudi Arabia, United States, Australia, and various other entities. This is not a project where we're having to go out and find, it's not like most mines where, okay, you have a product, now you have to sell it. We have people that want it before we ever even pull it out of the ground. Over the course of the next 3 years, here's the plan. Here's what's going to happen. We are going to expand this operation to the point that everything is in place. The areas that need to be harvested of the timber will be harvested. The overburden will be stockpiled. The roads that we need will be built. The infrastructure for moving product to rail will be built. A 15-mile rail track will be built from the railroad track itself now up through the mine so that we can use a conveyor belt system to move product to rail cars and rail cars down to the spur. The rail system will put in additional double 2-mile spur track, and all of this is slated to happen over the next 2 years. Once all of that is in place, based on all that we know at this moment, we will have an asset that's bankable at $200 billion. I want you to think about that. If you can go to the bank, understand this, an IPO in itself, if I've got an IPO in my hand, if you've got an IPO in your hand from China that says, I will buy 300 million tons or 1 billion tons, that's something that you can take to the bank. It has a value. The bank will loan money against that if that's what you choose to do. They won't loan 100%. So if we have a bankable asset, an asset that can be borrowed against in the term for a value of 200 billion, what is its actual value? Double, roughly. Our total out of pocket on this entire project is $125 million, start to finish. 125 million. So when you ask the question, how can you sustain these payouts? How can you sustain this return? This is how it's done. Projects like this. This project is astounding. People every day, all the time, ask, how long is this going to last? How long can you do this? How long will you be around? How long will you be online? And it's a hard question to answer, okay? Because you've been told all kinds of things, but this is the reality. The bottom line is it's going to take us 3 years to get to a point to where we have a bankable asset that we want, that we will either make a decision to continue with as owners, as co-owners, or we will sell off. So PTV Partner is sustained for the next 3 years by this project. And like I told you in the beginning, this deal's already done. Whether you're a part of it or not a part of it, whether you invest or don't invest, does not make a bit of difference as to how this project progresses. So, but if you want the ultimate answer to this project is, if we continue with the silica mine past that 3-year point, if at that point we could sell it off, we could borrow against it, get out from under it, we can do a lot of different things. I think we'd be crazy, and a lot of people are in the same mindset that we would be crazy to abandon this project at 3 years. But it is up to a majority decision of the board. But if we continue with this project, understand this. The largest mine in the world, and their peak was excavating 200,000 tons a day. Okay? If we excavate 200,000 tons per day, every day starting today, in 277 years, we will complete the 20 billion, and we could have 2, 3, 4 times that much. So how long is it going to last? I mean, you tell me. The chances are we're never going to excavate 200,000 tons a day. At best, based on all the projections that I've been privileged to, they will never get to more than 1 million tons a day, and that'll take 5 years from now to get to. If we only, 1 million tons a month, I mean, if we only do 1 million tons a month, how long will it take to excavate 20 billion tons? Do the math. It's somewhere around 1,100 years, okay? So this is an extreme project. This isn't a project that's going to go away tomorrow. This isn't a project that if, you know, it's based on Forex or whatever, okay? Your kids' college fund. You don't have to second mortgage your home or get a title loan on your car. Don't do any of those things. Whether some of you are going to understand what I'm telling you here, and some of you are going to still question everything that I'm telling you here, and that's fine. We don't care, okay? I mean, we want to give you as much information as we can, but if you don't buy into it, don't buy into it. What I don't want you to do, what I do want you to do is use smart business tactics, smart investing strategy, no matter whether you're here or whether you're not here. And what you shouldn't do ever in any project, whether it's this one or another one, is invest more than you can afford to lose. We didn't, and we wouldn't. So you don't need to. You need to follow the same strategy as those who know what they're doing in the investment world and participate only what you can afford. Get your principal back at the earliest possible convenience. Play with risk capital. That's why they call it risk capital. That's your investment capital. One of the last attributes that I want to talk to you about of this mine is the unseen part of this enormous iceberg. You've heard the analogy, only 10% of the iceberg is visible and the other 90% is below the water, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same with the silica mine. What we can see, what we know is that there's 20 billion tons of silica. What we know is its value. What we know is who we can sell it to. What we know is that all of these things